of the Femme du Chalet, better known as the breakfast shed. In the event of an earthquake, do not run out of the building. Stay calm, drop, cover, and hold on. If the evacuation is required, please listen for instructions via the hotel's PA system for the earthquake evacuation route and muster point. Associates from Hyatt will assist you in evacuating. Once outside, conduct a head count for your group to ensure that everyone is accounted for. Should you believe someone is missing, notify the hired associate in your area. Do not return to the building for any reason until the fire service has stated it is safe to do so. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic policy, we kindly ask that you wear your mask in all public areas of the hotel. Make sure to wash your hands and maintain social distancing of 6 feet. Thank you, be safe, and have an enjoyable time with us.
Just before we proceed with today's program, it must be acknowledged that the country, similar to the rest of the world, continues to face unprecedented times during this pandemic. And to succeed, we must do our part to respond responsibly in order to suppress the spread of the virus. Therefore, for the duration of this event, we advise our members in the audience to please be reminded of the need to observe the established health protocols to safeguard your health as well as the health of others. All are advised of facial masks must be worn and kept on, and strict sanitation and social distancing protocols must be observed at this morning's event. Good morning, everyone. Again, please stand for the arrival of Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your seat. Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart R. Young, MP, Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw Niles, Permanent Secretary Acting, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Sandra Fraser, Permanent Secretary Acting, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mr. Kirk Francois, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Mr. Eugene Okfere, SVP and Country Chair of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Mr. Stefan Picard, General Manager, Commercial, Ms. Manatee Psc, Commissioner of State Lands, Management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Management and staff of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me start by welcoming you all to the official signing of the Manatee Production Sharing Contract. My name is Karen Paul Lyons from the Office of the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, and I am your mistress of ceremony here today. Today, we are here to experience a milestone in our continuous drive to build business continuity whilst ensuring benefits for the citizens of our country. The execution of this production sharing contract will redound to the benefit of the energy sector. To begin, I invite Mr. Eugene Okfere, SVP and Country Chair of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, to the podium to give opening remarks. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Okfere, SVP and Country Chair of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, to the podium.
Thank you so much for a very kind introduction. I'm not used to that. Lots of titles. I feel special today, and it is a special day. Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad, the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Minister on the Office of the Prime Minister, Honorable Stuart Young, Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Mrs. Sandra Fraser, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mr. Kirk Francis, Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Energy, Ms. Manatee Psc, Commissioner of State of Lands, Management and staff of the Ministry of Energy, members of the Shell Trinidad and Tobago team, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to be here this morning. After many months of collaborative discussions, it's really with pride I stand here for us to execute the Manatee Psc, or the Block 6 Psc amendment that will enable the Manatee development. Much like the success that has happened in the Point Lisas industry and Atlantic LNG, The decision by government under the honorable and visionary leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister to enable the independent development of the Manatee field is nothing short of an innovative move and bold one, and without which we will not be standing here today. I would also like to have a special thank you to Minister Young for his tireless commitment in making us reach here today. I think, Minister Young, we had some pretty tough and frank conversations. I've learned being in Trinidad what boofing means. I think I got that quite a bit. But it was always in the spirit of collaboration and partnership, which I truly appreciate. And it was always in a win-win situation for the benefit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and for our shareholders. Also, to the ministry team led by P.S. Bradshaw, Sandra, Poying Louis, and all the rest for your tireless commitment during this pandemic. I think most of us didn't think virtual negotiations could happen. We're here today. And to my team, thank you very much. Manatee is absolutely part of and aligned with the Shell strategy. As most of you know, Shell is in the forefront of trying to accelerate the energy transition. We call it the Powering Progress strategy, and we aim to accelerate our transition to a net zero business by 2050 in line with society. And in that respect, gas is absolutely part of that equation. It's the thing that we can do today. It's the cleanest form of fossil fuel energy. It emits anywhere between 45 and 55% less greenhouse gases when compared to coal in the energy in generating electricity. So for Shell, the number one thing we can do now for that energy transition is to actually increase the use of gas. We still have coal-fired plants around the world today, and replacement of that with gas is part of the energy transition. I want to emphasize that point. Of course, in addition to that, we are investing in multiple renewable zero-carbon energy projects around the world, particularly around hydrogen, solar, and wind energy. And we're very pleased here in Trinidad and Tobago to be working with the government and our partners BP and BP Lightsource, or Lightsource BP, I should say, in developing a 112 megawatt solar project, which, when it's delivered, will be the biggest of its kind in the Caribbean, and will support the government's drive to generate 10% of its electricity needs from renewable energy resources. We are also working hard at reducing our emissions in our own operations, taking out venting, taking out flaring. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are very much in Trinidad part of that energy transition. Manatee is an absolutely strategic project for the country. It's one of the largest gas discoveries in country, with about in-place volumes of around 2.7 TCF, that when it comes on stream will be critical for the supply and the long-term future of the energy industry in Trinidad for both domestic and the LNG markets. So that is why we're really committed to it. Today is a great milestone with the PSC signing that allows us to further mature that project. There are still many other agreements to go, but we look forward to the continued collaboration with the government and our partners to de-risk that. Particularly, we are very keen on the continued discussions on the Atlantic restructuring, which is fundamental in de-risking gas supply in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I would say we are very much committed to the future. Shell is very much committed to the future, energy future of Trinidad and Tobago. We're happy to have the kind of collaborative relationship and the enabling environment that the government of Trinidad and Tobago allows us to do. And I just want to end again by saying a big thank you to the visionary decision of the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister Young, for your commitment and drive, to the ministry teams, and of course to my teams, and ladies and gentlemen, to you here, thank you very much for listening.
As we continue with our program, I wish to now welcome to the podium to address you the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart R. Young, MP.
Good morning. Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw Niles, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Sandra Fraser, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, Energy Industries, Mr. Eugene Okper, Senior Vice President and Country Chair of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited. You got your title there, Eugene. Mr. Stefan Pekal, General Manager, Commercial Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Ms. Manatee Psc, Commissioner of State Lands, management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, management and staff of Shell Trinidad and Tobago, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today has been an effort, and today is a good day in a journey for Trinidad and Tobago. I'd like to spend a few moments here that I have with you putting things into context. The first thing is what you're seeing happening globally in the energy sector. Trinidad and Tobago is at the forefront of the conversation. So whilst there is going to be a general reduction of carbons, greenhouse gas emissions, etc., Trinidad and Tobago is having its voice heard. Recently, the Honorable Prime Minister led a delegation to COP26, which was really a highlighted event for persons to focus on the environment. Yesterday, we participated as Trinidad and Tobago in the GECF ministerial meeting, and our message was a simple one. The GECF is a gas exporting countries forum where the major gas producers of the world got together, the ministers, to discuss how we would be moving forward in the future. And what I'd like Trinidad and Tobago to understand is gas is here to stay. And that was our message to the GECF yesterday. I told the other ministers it is time that we come to the forefront of this conversation whilst working to reduce carbon emissions. Gas is the way forward. Gas is current, and it will carry us forward as the cleanest hydrocarbon fossil fuel into the future. That's the first part of the context. Dr. Rowley, when we came in as an administration in 2015, made it very clear to the Cabinet that one of the areas of focus of this government would be our hydrocarbon sector, our oil and gas sector and economy. And he led that from the forefront out of the office of the Prime Minister. So even before I was appointed the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries earlier this year, Dr. Rowley, out of the Office of the Prime Minister, and myself were assisting in ensuring the continuity of our energy sector. Shell re-entered in Trinidad and Tobago what seems like a few short years ago, and it would be remiss of me not to use this morning as an opportunity to thank Eugene and his team, his predecessor, Mr. Derek Hudson, and all of the Shell officers who are gathered here today. It has not been an easy journey because of how the environment is quickly morphing and changing on us, etc. But Shell, you've made it that much easier. Yes, we have difficult conversations, we have difficult discussions, but it is always easy to do because they understand our mandate as the government of Trinidad and Tobago, which is to extract maximum benefit for our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and we understand their mandate, which is to extract benefit for their shareholders. And we have managed, this is just another project, but we've managed throughout Shell's reintroduction to Trinidad and Tobago to get quite a lot done. Colibri, Barracuda, the restructuring of other areas, the enhanced revenue, and a host of other things. So Shell has shown that they are willing to partner with Trinidad and Tobago, and we appreciate it. To the staff at the Ministry of Energy, often unthanked, I thank you all here personally today. We worked long and hard. This is just one of the many deals that we managed to close. And the message is to Shell, and to all of the other global oil and gas players, Trinidad and Tobago, under this administration, is willing to be innovative, we're willing to listen, and we're willing to work along with whoever is on the other side to make it happen for the benefit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what we're doing here today. This Manatee deal and transaction was actually the Prime Minister having a conversation with us, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, and saying, listen, as the geopolitical landscape changed, what is it that we can do to extract the Manatee gas from the Loran side, because it is in a cross-border gas field we share with Venezuela. And the Prime Minister led the front in the vision and the starting conversations, and we made it happen. First of all, we got the government of Venezuela to agree for us to delink it, to stop the unitization agreement and allow us to explore with Shell the potential of the Manatee field, and that's what today is about. It's a culmination of working hard over the last few months, some very difficult conversations, some uneasy conversations at times, but made easier because we knew we were working with a partner that was being upfront with us. We put our cards on the table, they put their cards on the table. And I think today, the significance of today for me, as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, is we remain competitive in the global environment. We're willing to listen, we're willing to work with a major player to find terms in this PSC that are out of the box and that would work for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago in a number of ways, but also for the benefit of Shell, who is a major shareholder in Atlantic LNG, and I dare say a partner with Trinidad and Tobago. We are going out with our bid rounds, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I intend to take it to Cabinet next week. And this, for me, was a manifestation of our ability as Trinidad and Tobago to stay competitive in the global environment that is a rapidly changing one. I'd like to take the opportunity, in closing, to thank all who worked hard in making this a reality. It's only one of the milestones. We have a lot more. We have ongoing discussions and negotiations right now with the restructuring of Atlantic LNG that are taking place, and they are very difficult and complex, but we are up to the task. And in ending, I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for having, I assume, the confidence in me to place me in this role of Minister of Energy and Energy of Industries at a very interesting time in the global energy sector, as things are moving very rapidly, with one mandate: make sure we get the best deals for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we, Trinidad and Tobago, stay competitive in the rapidly changing global environment that is the energy sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention, and today is indeed another good day for us in the energy sector of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Stuart R. Young, our Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, MP. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, to deliver the featured address.
Thank you very much, our Mistress of Ceremonies this morning. Permit me to acknowledge the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, carrying also the portfolio of Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Young, Mrs. Penelope Bradshaw-Niles, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ms. Sandra Fraser, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, our Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Mr. Kirk Francois, Mr. Eugene Okpere, Senior Vice President and Country Chair of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Mr. Stefan Pical, General Manager, Commercial of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, our Commissioner of State Lands, Ms. Manatee Psc, management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, the technical team and management of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, and as usual, our ever-present media of Trinidad and Tobago, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to announce the agreement between the Government of Trinidad and Tobago and Shell Trinidad and Tobago and Shell Trinidad and Tobago Resources SRL on the terms and conditions of a production sharing contract, a PSC, in respect of the Manatee field located in Sub-Block 6D, Manatee Psc, in the East Coast Marine area of Trinidad, and which is a portion of the existing Block 6 production sharing contract contracted to Shell. The project will be one of the largest natural gas developments to be undertaken in Trinidad and Tobago. Based on the development concept, the operating and capital expenditure is estimated at $1.8 billion US. The upstream activity that will be generated by the project will create opportunities for the domestic energy service industry and other service providers. The Manatee field forms part of the Loran-Manatee cross-border field, with Loran being located in the marine area of Venezuela. The Loran-Manatee Reservoir has an estimated resource of 10.04 trillion cubic feet of gas, of which 2.7 trillion cubic feet is within the Manatee field. On August 16, 2010, the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela executed a unitization agreement for the exploitation and development of the Loran-Manatee field. An absence of urgency and no definite commitment to making the necessary investment among the various interested parties saw this proven resource remaining dormant as though stranded. Therefore, the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela agreed to the independent development of by each government of the field within the Loran-Manatee cross-border that falls within its own marine area. By government-to-government agreement dated October 15, 2019, the Loran-Manatee unitization agreement was terminated, delinking the development of the Manatee field from the Loran field. While the imposition of United States sanctions may have temporarily derailed our cross-border initiative, this situation is not expected to last indefinitely. The decision to proceed independently on the development of the cross-border fields created the opportunity for both the government as resource owner and Shell as contractor to monetize what would be one of the country's largest natural gas fields to date. In an agreement dated August 19, 2019, between the government and Shell for the extension of the term of Block 6, it was agreed that separate terms would apply for any petroleum production derived from the commercial development of any field or fields in the sub-block 6D, the Manatee portion of the contract area, subject to mutual agreement of the parties. Pursuant to the terms of the agreement, Shell was encouraged and requested the opportunity to initiate negotiations to continue its appraisal and pre-sanction activities which were necessary to progress the commercial development of the sub-block 6D, commonly called Manatee, and that portion of the Block 6. This request was positively received by the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, acting on behalf of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Today's event is the culmination of the negotiations between the Ministry and Shell and the subsequent approval by the Government of Trinidad and Tobago. It signifies this government's ongoing commitment and action to meet domestic natural gas requirements and our resourcefulness in overcoming sometimes impossible obstacles. The production sharing contract for sub-block 6D, Manatee, is for a period of 25 years. Preliminary estimates indicate that the natural gas production could start as early as 2025, with an initial production of up to 350 million standard cubic feet per day, before ramping up to as much as 700 million standard cubic feet per day. In considering our current proven reserves of natural gas and the size of the many discoveries of new fields, the significance of this development will be appreciated in Trinidad and Tobago. However, we do not have to wait until 2025 before we see the financial benefits accruing from the production sharing contract, which we are signing today. A suite of annual charges are payable within 10 days of the effective date of the contract, and thereafter within the first 10 days of the contract year. These include an administrative charge of $300,000 US, increasing at 4% per annum for training and research, and development contributions of $150,000 US per annum, increasing at 6% annually until the start of production, when contributions will equal 0.25% of the value of the contractor's share of profits petroleum. There also a one-time technical bonus of $200,000 US to the ministry as an annual scholarship contribution of $100,000 US per annum, increasing at 6% per annum, and a signing bonus of $15 million US. As per the terms of the production sharing contract, Shell is required to comply with government's local content policy, which requires the contractor to maximize to the satisfaction of the minister the level of usage of local goods and services and employment of nationals of Trinidad and Tobago. However, Shell needs no reminder, as the company has demonstrated its commitment to local content and local value added through its community engagement initiative and its close partnership with industry, government, and other local stakeholders. I expect that this custom will continue. Both the ministry team, led by the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Young, and the Shell team, led by Mr. Eugene Okpere, Senior Vice President and Country Chair, are to be congratulated for their sterling work in successfully completing the negotiations within time constraints. This project is important to both the government and to Shell, as production from the field will form a significant portion of domestic natural gas production and Shell's natural gas portfolio over the next decade. Shell has and continues to be an invaluable partner to the government and people in the development of the upstream sector in Trinidad and Tobago and in cross-border initiatives with the government of Venezuela. While the latter has been temporarily suspended, we are hopeful for re-engagement with the Venezuelan government when the environment permits and would welcome Shell's renewed interest as a partner. Our relationship is a partnership which is based on equity, is mutually beneficial, and has grown from strength to strength. Shell is a key player in the commercial restructuring of Atlantic LNG and also in the development of the country's first utility-scale solar project. We look forward to your continued participation in the domestic energy sector and welcome your commitment to securing Trinidad and Tobago's energy future as we transition to a low-carbon economy. The last 2 years in the domestic energy sector have been challenging, but we are slowly recovering. We had turned the corner when COVID-19 pandemic struck. This had the effect of dampening upstream activity, which resulted in delay in the implementation of new upstream projects, and as a consequence, a reduced gas supply. Both the downstream and LNG were impacted. Overall gas supply and international market conditions saw a number of petrochemical plants being taken offline, and Train 1 was negatively impacted. The shareholders of Train 1 are engaged in discussions with a view to making a determination on the future of this train by the end of the first quarter of calendar 2022. In the interim, there have been some bright spots. Touchstone has continued to make new discoveries of oil and gas. BHP Block 3A Ruby Delaware project came on stream in May 2021, followed by Shell's Block 5C Barracuda project and BPTT's Matapal field. The joint venture of EOG and BPTT announced the discovery of the Mento gas field. In the near future, that is, in 2022, BPTT Cassia development and Shell's Colibri project, based on the NCMA 4 and Block 22 developments, are due to come on stream. On implementation, these gas projects will help in alleviating the current natural gas concerns of the domestic downstream industry and the LNG producers. However, the key to reducing or eliminating any gas shortfall in the medium term is the approval of the current unsanctioned projects. The government is engaging the upstream companies on the approval of the unsanctioned projects, and we are prepared to facilitate the companies to achieve these objectives. Our recent meetings in London leave us very optimistic that more projects of current interest will be sanctioned as we go forward into the near and medium term. Natural gas production show that gas production will steadily increase to 2024, then undergo a brief decline before rebounding in the 2026 to 2027 period. Hence, the need to accelerate the approval of unsanctioned projects. During the period 2026 to 2027, Shell's Manatee and BHP deepwater projects are projected to come on stream. These projects together have the potential to supply in excess of 1 billion cubic feet per day of natural gas in the period beyond 2026 for the life of the projects. A key element of the development plan for these projects is access to the LNG markets. The successful completion of the Atlantic LNG restructuring effort will be critical in these projects. At present, the draft heads of agreement between the government and Atlantic shareholders is being reviewed by the parties and is expected to be completed by December 2021. Negotiations on a framework agreement and definitive agreements will follow the heads of agreement and are projected to be completed by June 2022. The restructuring of Atlantic LNG is anticipated to bring the trains under the umbrella of a unified entity, which will be a more efficient arrangement for management and operations of the surviving trains. Government will benefit through an increased shareholding in the unified entity and also from the improved netback to the upstream companies resulting from new marketing arrangements. While the energy sector will continue to be the mainstay of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, we are mindful of the need to transition to a low-carbon economy. It is a journey that we intend to pursue in an alignment with goals and objectives of our energy stakeholders. As a valued stakeholder, the government looks forward to the collaboration with Shell and all others on the country's energy transition. In closing, I wish to emphasize our hearty congratulations to both the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries and Shell's negotiating teams for their excellent work, which resulted in the signing today of a Manatee production sharing contract and associated agreement between the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries acting on behalf of the Government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Shell. I would deprive myself of an opportunity to say thank you to a missing person today, and I speak specifically of the former leader of the Shell team, Mr. Martin Westerler, who has moved on to Spain, to a Spanish company, which is still involved in energy. And Eugene, I trust that you will convey our best wishes from the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister, for that stimulating and very insightful featured address. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we have all been waiting for, the official signing of the Manatee production sharing contract. I now invite the Commissioner of State Lands and Mr. Stefan Picard to join the head table for this signing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a two-tier exercise. The both parties' legal and commercial team would also be signing, and this would take place after. legal is going to sign now? Okay, so they're signing now. The legal and commercial team is up there now. Okay, lower down. Okay.
We will do the legal after. Let's just ask the teams. Okay, we're not doing the second, we'll do the second one after.
After what?
After the ceremony. What we'll do now is just ask Lawrence and Kerry and
Axel? Bring it out and after. Okay, so I know the
just
closer.
for the foot.
I know
yes.
the closer. Okay. Ask them to take a seat. Otherwise, give it a time. Yeah. Yes, okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I ask that we all take our seats once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our formal program. And once again, on behalf of the management and staff of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries and Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, we extend our special thanks to all involved in making this signing possible. Together, we have accomplished a milestone in the energy landscape. I wish to thank the Dr. Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, for his featured address, which outlined the activities in the sector and positive outlook. The Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart R. Young, MTP, for his remarks, who took us through the history, importance, and assured us of Trinidad and Tobago's commitment for the benefit of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited. Mr. Eugene Okpere, SVP and Country Chair of Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, for your appreciation of thanks to all individuals involved in this signing. Your mention to Manatee's development which is of strategic importance to the sector. Thank you. Once again, today's proceeding was indeed a significant milestone for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and Shell Trinidad Limited. As we leave here this morning, we do hope you enjoy the rest of your morning and continue to keep safe. Thank you all.